Alright, what is going on guys? It is Benny, and today we are going to be playing some Mortarbait because Supercell ended up buffing our main deck and making this deck a lot stronger. This guy is going to play the Ram Rider right off the start there. That is crazy. We can just log it to reset its dash and then we will defend that. And we also got some really good damage on the right side. I feel like we both starting handed each other there, so you know, I don't feel guilty for that. Usually if we caught him off guard and he didn't try to starting hand us, then I'd be a little more remorseful, but I'm okay with that. And honestly, I feel like Ram Rider users deserve that. But this deck has gotten stronger. They buffed Musketeer. The Evil Musketeer does more damage in each shot, so hopefully we can get some really good wins with this deck because it's gotten a lot stronger. And honestly, you're just able to get a lot more value out of your Musketeer with this deck now. Now we're going to get some amazing Fireball value, so I'm going to do that because then we don't really have to worry about countering that wizard anymore, and then we can just play the Spear Goblins there. Let's wait and see what he does to respond to the Spear Goblins, and then you know, we'll kind of go from there. I'll play the Goblin Gang here, we might as well do it so that we don't take any damage, and then cycle. Then we can Skeleton Barrel right here in front and hopefully get some nice damage there again. And then he's going to Ram Rider, so I'm just going to play the defensive Mortar right here, and that should be a pretty easy defense. And already we have amazing damage on the right side, so it looks like this guy can't keep up with our pace. And that's something that I see a lot of people make a mistake with this deck, is they don't understand or they don't pay attention to how their deck matches up against their opponent. So you know, in a deck like this where this guy's clearly struggling to match our pace, then we really just want to try to keep the pressure on him as much as we can. If it was a different deck, or you know, if this guy was able to keep up with that, we were playing Logbait or something, then maybe we have to kind of chip down a little bit more, and it's different. So just make sure that you adapt your strategy based on how people are playing, and you know, that's going to be the best way to get your wins. Now I'm going to go ahead and play the Spear Goblins right here. This guy's Ram Rider, it's probably going to get on the tower. I'm just going to log it there. It's going to be a little bit late, but that's okay. We do have the Goblin Gang there to help kind of take everything out, and then so we got some good damage there, but you know, overall not a bad defense. I'm gonna let that Recruit get on the tower, and then I'm gonna Evil Mortar here. I'm not too worried about that little bit of damage, and sometimes you kind of just have to pick your battles, especially when you're playing against Recruits. Sometimes it's better to take a bit of damage to then punish your opponent, or at least counter push. He has the Pekka right there, which is going to be a pretty easy defense. I don't see us having too much trouble with that, and we do also get some really good chip damage there with our Skeleton Barrel, which is good. I'm gonna go ahead and log right here on the Evil Wizard just to kind of get that down a little bit more and get some more chip damage on the tower. And then I'm going to go ahead and defensive Mortar here because we know we're going to need that eventually. Let's go ahead and play the Skeleton Barrel here as well, and then we do have our Evil Musketeer, but honestly, I don't think it really makes sense to try to hold on to it to get value out of it. I think it makes more sense to get it down and maybe cycle to a second Musketeer if we need to. But the Evil Musketeer's ability actually is also really helpful for just shredding through all of the Recruits and stuff. And we're going to defend this pretty easily. Let's go ahead and play a Mortar offensively now that we defended that. And we do have the Musketeer going in the opposite lane. He just played the Recruits in the back. That was a huge mistake, so we're going to get the win there. So let's give him a good game. Let's give him a good luck, and let's go on into the next match. Alright, you guys, next matchup. I'm curious, what are your guys' thoughts on the balance changes? I feel like Evil Pekka needed a little bit more of a nerf. I think it was a good nerf, but I think it needed just a tiny bit more of a nerf so that it wasn't or isn't, I guess, you know, still as strong. But I feel like they were in as a step in the right direction. Let's go ahead and get a King Tower activation here. That was perfect. I'm going to be honest, I messed that up about 90% of the time, so I'm definitely happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and Goblin Gang right here for the Flying Machine. Usually I would Fireball it, but because it's early and it doesn't represent a huge threat, I was just going to go ahead and play the Goblin Gang to be safe. And then if he doesn't have like a ton of Fireball bait, then I will probably start to Fireball that Flying Machine every time it comes out. Because he has Fisherman, I'm expecting either Pekka or Royal Giant. It's going to be Pekka. You know, honestly, I'm usually used to seeing it being like every time I see Fisherman thinking that it's going to be Royal Giant, so it's kind of interesting now. Every time we see Fisherman, it's going to be Pekka more likely, just because Pekka is so strong. Really easy defense there. Musketeer is going to get a ton of value. Now, a really big mistake that I see people making with this deck, and you know, a lot of people ask me, Benny, how do I defend against certain decks? And honestly, 90% of the time, the biggest thing you need to focus on is making sure that you have your Musketeer low on your tower or in this area. And then, well, okay, hold up, we got to play this Mortar here. We got to lock in for a second. But making sure that you have that Musketeer in the proper low position and that you're timing it right. So you don't want to just play your Musketeer for the sake of playing your Musketeer. You know, you want to make sure that you have a Musketeer ready for their push, and you want to make sure that it's always in the back so that you can defend with it properly. I think those are the two most important things. And if you're playing your Musketeer consistently in this area, or if they have Lightning down here, you're going to get more wins. I'm going to go ahead and cycle my Skeleton Barrel here. I don't want to start my Musketeer quite yet, just because I don't know what he's going to do. I'm expecting maybe a slow push with a Pekka eventually, so we kind of want to look out for that. Let's go ahead and play our Spear Goblins right here. Hopefully we catch the Flying Machine as it crosses again. And then he went for the Rage, but that's okay. He can have those 2 shots. I'm not too worried about that. Let's go ahead and let's Evil Mortar here. He does get the Evil Pekka down, but we do get some nice splash damage with the Spear Goblins. Or not splash damage, sorry, but chip damage. Let's go ahead and Fireball right there on the Flying Machine. And then I'm going to go ahead and just play some Spear Goblins here to pull that Pekka so that we can get some extra shots out of our Evil Mortar. And then that will be a very nice defense. I'm not mad about that at all. And then Evil Pekka will go down eventually, thankfully. Let's go ahead and let's just play our Goblin Gang just to be safe, to make sure that we don't take anything too crazy. Good log there to get some really good value. And then I'm going to go ahead and play my Knight. And let's also get some Spear Goblins just to kind of support. They're like a second Musketeer. Their damage really does add up over time, honestly, so try to really utilize those. Then we got the Skeleton Barrel. We're just going to go for that chip damage at this point. Let's get a Fireball here. Hopefully we can catch everything that we want to catch. That's crazy that we missed the Flying Machine. Okay, let's go ahead and Goblin Gang here, and then let's Defensive Mortar, and then we might as well get a Knight down to help tank, just because this guy's kind of going in pretty aggressive here. I'm going to go ahead and Spear Goblins right on the Flying Machine. That should get taken out. Then we can go ahead and Skeleton Barrel again. Let's hopefully get some damage out of that. And then okay, honestly, I'm going to Evil Musketeer in the back just to get that damage onto the Pekka. It's really important that we get a Musketeer down, so if we have to use our Evil Musketeer, I'm not too worried about that. Let's go ahead and Evil Mortar up high for that Ram Rider again, and then I'm going to start to spam both lanes here, because we do have the Evil Mortar on that side, so he does have to deal with that, and then we have everything going in on the left side. Skeleton Barrel will get on the tower, which will be some really good chip damage, and then I'm going to ignore that Flying Machine. We could Fireball cycle at this point, but I think it's a little bit risky, so let's just keep spamming on this guy for now, and then we'll kind of wait and see what he does in response to that. We do get some Spear Goblin damage, so that's going to give us the win. Let's give him a good game, let's give him a good luck, and let's go on into the next. Alright, next matchup. I'm going to be honest, the last 2 seasons I really wasn't enjoying playing Clash Royale as much. You know, I felt like the meta was just really boring playing against the Goblinstein and the Pekka 24/7, and I felt like it was one of the more frustrating metas. Even when Minor Poison was super meta, I really felt like that was a better type of meta to play, because, you know, the matches, they might have been frustrating when I lost, but it was satisfying to play in those matchups, and, you know, it felt like they were really close matchups sometimes, whereas these ones, I feel like, you know, the last 2 seasons, it felt like we were playing perfect matches sometimes, and we were still getting the loss just because one Ram Rider connection, which was honestly really frustrating. So I'm glad that the balance changes came out, and I'm glad that things are a little bit different here. I didn't realize that that stuff got on the tower on that right side, so we took a bit of damage there, but that was a pretty aggressive Goblin Barrel for him to go for. We should get the Musketeer on the tower. Oh, and he has to, I forgot he's running Cannoneer, so he's going to lose this tower, I think, because he had to deal with the right side as well, otherwise he gets slammed. So that's a very nice start for this matchup. I'm very happy about that, but I'm going to play this matchup out because I've had a couple people ask me about how to defend against Recruits, so I really want to play this one out just to kind of show you guys that demonstration. Now, we are going to get that Firecracker down. I'm going to go ahead and play my Mortar here as well, just to kind of get that counter push and force him to play something. He's going to play the Recruits. So we are going to get some really good value out of our Mortar there, and we're going to get some really good stuff happening. So I have my Musketeer down low, and I'm literally just playing everything into the middle. I'm just trying to pull everything into the middle, and then if the Musketeer goes down, it's really not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and let's log here, and then let's go ahead and also get the Knight there on the Scientist just to get him down a little bit quicker. And he got some good damage, but nothing too crazy, so we do come out on top, I think, given that exchange. And then I think we just want to slow it down now here. We'll probably have to Goblin Gang on that Dark Goblin just because it gets so much value. We do it a second early, but that's okay. I'd rather risk it being a second early than a second late and him getting a little bit of damage. And then I'm just going to cycle the Skeleton Barrel here. The reason why I'm okay with doing that is because he has to counter it no matter what, just because he has Cannoneer, so, you know, it's kind of worth doing. Let's go ahead and let's, oh crap, I didn't mean to Fireball there, I'm going to be honest, I meant to log, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just play this right here. We can ignore that Goblin Barrel on the left side, I'm not very worried about that. And then we just want to pull these Recruits into the middle again. Musketeer is going crazy. Let's go ahead and get another Musketeer down as well to help us defend here and take care of everything, and we will be okay, which is good. And then we can let that Firecracker get a shot. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to Defensive Mortar here just to pull that that Goblinstein into the middle. And then we do have our log to deal with that barrel. Let's go ahead and get the knight down to deal with the scientist so that we don't have to worry about that. And then we can go ahead and just get some spear goblins. Let's even get a goblin gang down for good measure. And we are going to come out with the win. So let's give him a good game. Let's give him a good luck. And let's go on into the next match. Alright, guys, last matchup. Let's go ahead and play the skeleton barrel here. And then we're just going to wait a second. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and split my goblin gang in the back here. This might be classic Hog 2.6, or it could, okay, this is Hog EQ. Oh, this is going to be Royal Hogs with Earthquake. That is actually a pretty annoying matchup. Why does this guy have Firecracker? Maybe this isn't Hogs, maybe this is Hog Cycle, but instead of using Hog, instead of using Musketeer, he's using Firecracker. That's kind of weird though. Let's go ahead and let's play the skeleton barrel here, and then hopefully we can get some nice damage out of that. We are going to get these Ice Spirit down, so we're actually getting really good damage on the left side. I'm very happy about that. He just used his log, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Goblin Gang just to kind of keep him on his toes a little bit, maybe force him to play something. He's going to Ice Golem, and then he's going to play the the regular skeleton, sorry, but he does have Evo Skeletons, so we have to be careful of that going forward. I'm going to go ahead and play the Knight here. He's going to play the Ice Spirit. This guy's deck actually is a very common version of decks that we'd be seeing right now because of Evo Pekka. We're seeing a lot more people running Evo Ice Spirit and Evo Skeletons instead of anything else, and it's because it can take down Pekka very well, and it matches up very well against Ram Rider, so that is very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and get a King Tower activation here because I think that's going to be super important. Unfortunately, we did have to use our Musketeer, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to log right here on that Hog Rider. Hopefully he doesn't predict us with a log. We do defend that very easily, so overall very good defense and a very good exchange for us. We do have a King Tower activation for free, and we got some really good damage as well. Now, whenever you're playing against Hog EQ, a lot of the time I find that I need to play my Mortar in the opposite lane. Granted, in this matchup it's a little bit different. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to play it against this guy because I feel like we're getting pretty good value out of our mortars anyways, but usually because they have Earthquake, I try to mortar into the opposite lane and then I try to spam troops into this lane, and that just kind of helps stop the cards they're using to kite the mortar, and it helps us get a bit more value. Let's go ahead and get rid of that Firecracker, and then we are going to get the Ice Golem down as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and Musketeer here. Let's not play the Goblin Gang just in case he logs. And then we will defend that pretty easily. And then I'm going to Mortar on this side again. Let's go ahead and predict the cannon right there. We do catch the cannon. And then he does have to Earthquake. That's good. And then we have the Musketeer going in there. Let's go ahead and get a Skeleton Barrel and some Spear Goblins there as well. Those will help out with the Skeletons. He does go for the cannon, unfortunately, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, I'm going to cycle my Knight in the back. I'm going to go for a Mortar, and then when he does, I'm going to go ahead and play the Musketeer in the middle in case he kites with something. He does kite with the Ice Golem, but we're going to use the Evil Musketeer to get that down, and we're going to go in super aggressive here. He just used his log. That's good. Let's go ahead and let's play the Goblin Gang here as well, and then we can go ahead and just... Oh, he used his Earthquake. Okay, let's go ahead and play the Evil Mortar now. We have the Evil Mortar down, and he doesn't have Earthquake for it. Let's get a Knight down in front in case he plays the cannon. He is going to play the Evil Firecracker. Let's go ahead and log to hopefully get that down quicker. Evil Mortar will get the shot on the Firecracker. Let's go ahead and Skeleton Barrel. We might get one Mortar shot. We do. That is huge. And then let's just wait a second now. Let's go ahead and play some Spear Goblins here. And then I'm going to go ahead and start my Musketeer in the back. If he goes for the Hog Rider, we can use our cannon to pull the Hog Rider and get rid of it and move it out of the way. Okay, he's going to Firecracker. I'm going to go ahead and Fireball there. That is great value for us. He's going to go for the Hog Rider. Let's go ahead and play the defensive Mortar. And then he went for the log. We just baited him with the log. Honestly, we are Riley. Who is the champion of log bait now? Let's go ahead and let's play the Musketeer. We got everything down. We got the Spear Goblins down. Mortar is firing. And then we do get some more Spear Goblins on the tower. I'm going to Musketeer into this lane here. And then let's go ahead and log. And then let's get a Mortar down as well to pull. And then we can go ahead and play the Skeleton Barrel onto the left side here. We are going to get that defended. Mortar, I think, is locked on the tower. Okay, never mind. It's locked onto the Firecracker. I'm actually kind of surprised that we weren't locked onto the tower there. We do get that down, and then let's get some Spear Goblins in. I'm going to go ahead and do the Goblin Gang there. I'm going to go ahead and Evil Musketeer in this lane as well. We're just going to play the defensive Mortar there, and then let's go ahead and get some Spear Goblins down. Firecracker will go down. I'm going to go ahead and play the Skeleton Barrel again, and then Evil Musketeer will shred through that Ice Golem, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and play another defensive Mortar, and then let's go ahead and start cycling our Musketeer into the same lane as this Hog Rider. I think that's going to be very important. We got to watch out for his Evil Firecracker when it comes out. But let's go ahead, we can do this. Let's go ahead and get the defensive mortar down again, and then I'm going to log just in case he goes for that evil firecracker. Let's go ahead and play the fireball on the tower, and we are going to come out with the win. Let's give him a good game, and let's give him a good luck. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one.